If you are an ambitious and high-performing director, you just got a senior executive promotion, and you have worked so hard to get this. But as soon as you receive the offer or through the interview process, you realize there's a misalignment and now you'd like to decline this offer. But the question is not about how to decline the offer. It's about how to decline this offer with grace. Because you might be worried that this could impact your future opportunity or your reputation, especially if this is an internal opportunity. You could also be worried about burning the bridges if this is an external opportunity. If that's the situation you are facing right now, and this video could be very helpful for you. There can be many reasons behind your decision, and you don't want to take this lightly. Perhaps after seeing the compensation compared to the sacrifice you will need to make for this position. For example, relocating your entire family to another country, you feel it is not worth it. And probably the gap between your income expectation and the conditions of company support for that relocation compared to this offer is too big to even negotiate. It could also be that after understanding the job better through the interview process, talking with various stakeholders, you see that the future development of this role does not align with where you want to be. Or perhaps after getting the offer, now you reevaluate with your family. You realize there are other priorities, for example, your aging parents, your children's education, and you are not ready to take on a much bigger responsibility with more travel and time away from your family. Whatever your reason is, you have now decided this is not an offer you'd like to accept. But what is even more overwhelming is the fear of disappointing the hiring manager, the board, the potential awkwardness, the risk of damaging your reputation, burning the bridges. So how do you inform the recruiting team, including the recruiter, the hiring manager, the board, that you will not be accepting this job offer, especially that they have already picturing you as part of their management team and include you in their future plans? It is not about declining the offer, but in navigating this conversation with grace, leadership, and empathy to make sure that this decision does not close doors for all the future opportunities. The very first thing to do is not sit on the decision. You need to act quickly. Ideally, you should respond to an offer within 24 hours to 48 hours after it's sent to you. If you procrastinate and delay your response for more than 2 days, this will not be regarded well, and it will disrupt their recruiting process. Because think about it, there are other candidates still waiting for the news. Your timely reply will not only reflect your professionalism and respect for the hiring manager, the recruiter's time, but also minimize any more negative impact. What is even more important is this could impact the hiring manager's reputation. In your case, it's very likely the group CEO or the business unit president. This could impact the board's perception of the hiring manager and their decision-making process. Whether you want to accept, negotiate, or decline this offer, I recommend you to give a reply within 24 hours because this shows your mindfulness towards the stakeholders you have been interacting with and the company's resources, their time and efforts. Probably the most important reason if you decide to decline the offer is that get it done quick can lower your own stress, and this will give you the time to refocus on your own current job or maybe finding an opportunity that better aligns with your career goals. Second, do not use email. Have a conversation instead. Declining an offer through email is like breaking up with someone through text messages. Choose what is right, not what is easy. While a conversation is more personal, it's more direct. When you choose a conversation to decline the job offer, this shows your respect and your desire for a transparent and honest communication. This is especially more important for senior executive positions because you have very likely been through several rounds of interviews and interactions. You have already established the trust between you and the hiring team. Otherwise, they wouldn't have offered you the job. In this conversation, you can show your gratitude for the job opportunity they offered to you, and you can explain your reason in a very respectful manner. And be prepared to also answer any questions they might have. You really never know if they truly want to work with you and see your value. They might be willing to make major adjustment in their offer, whether it's about remote working or family relocation support. Why is email the last option? Because email can often be misinterpreted depending on how they read them, where they read them, and under what circumstances. For example, they might be in a rush between 2 meetings. They just read your email shortly. Or they had a bad day and there are multiple negative events and meetings happened. Sending an email puts more control out of your hands because of all these many unknowns. A conversation, however, happens in a more controlled environment because you have their full attention. You can hear each other's voices. You can see each other's facial expression, body languages. You can interact, asking questions, answering questions. You can always follow up with an email summarizing the conversation afterward. So how do you frame your decision with grace? First, you want to think about the situation from their point of view. Even if you feel the offer is unfair or they're asking too much without matching the compensation, you need to understand the employer's perspective and the hiring manager's viewpoint. Now, let me add a few more words here. It is very likely inside of you, you feel this is not a fair offer. Perhaps they have changed the job requirements compared to what was initially communicated with you. Or perhaps the compensation is ridiculously low compared to what you have expected. Whatever your reason is, this is not the time to argue or put your frustrations on the table, even if logically it makes sense that they are not offering you what you expected. The critical question here is, do you want to be right or do you want the right outcome? Now, if you choose to have the right outcome, continue watching. See it from their perspective means that your decision, while right for you, may be very disappointing to them because they have invested time and resources, perhaps 4 to 5 rounds of interviews, even more, from their hiring manager, HR business partner, other senior leadership team members, recruiting agencies. They may have even turned away other candidates. All these efforts and resources have been dedicated to you. Now, let me give an example of how you can frame this. I'm very passionate about your organizational purpose and impact you'll be making in the next 5 to 10 years. Working with your team would be a fantastic opportunity for me. I apologize for taking up your time and resources without being able to accept this offer. I understand the investment of time and resources in the hiring process, and I deeply appreciate the interaction with your team. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity. Then you can explain your decision. For example, however, after having deeper understanding of the job requirements, particularly the significant amount of travel involved, I realized that this timing isn't right for me. For example, if your reason is workload and ambitious target, you can say something like this. I have aging parents and they need my attention. The time I have with them is very limited. Therefore, I don't feel I could fully commit to this position and make sure that we're going to be successful. It would benefit both parties, to you and to myself, if I decline this offer now so that you can find someone who is a better fit. What you don't want to do is to be critical and show your dissatisfactions. For example, these are the things I would never recommend you to say. The sacrifices you are asking me compared to the compensation are undervaluing me. It is also not appropriate to comment something like this. Your regional revenue and the growth trajectory are too small for what I'm capable of and do not align with what I'm looking for. If that's truly your reasoning, a better way to frame it would be, the more I've learned about the role, the more I realize that it does not align with my long-term career goal. I have so much respect for your team, culture, and mission. The type of role that would benefit the organization and my career would involve a long-term development plan where I can continue to grow and make a bigger impact over the next 10 to 20 years. The final step is to keep in touch and show your support and add value. Always remember that these people who offered you the position have already recognized your potential and they value your competence, leadership enough to give you that senior executive offer. Now, if this is an internal offer that you declined, then show your support to help the next person they select for the role. You can understand what criteria they used to choose you initially, so you can then guide and support the new leader to succeed in this position. I have a specific process that I have used for myself to get 2 vice president positions in Asia and in Europe at 2 largest Swedish companies by market cap. Now, if you want to learn how I achieved this in under just 2 years, I encourage you to watch the free training. You will get all the steps that I took to advance from middle management to top leadership positions by the age of 36. It's completely free, and you can sign up at inspiremyday.org/masterclass. For now, let me leave you with this video to find out how you can change your reputation at work. I'll see you there.